Good evening, welcome guys. Welcome to Elite EDM Stars with myself, Darren Baton, and aka the Dirty Mid-Ranger, DB9 Project, but more the Dirty Mid-Ranger these days because I don't really do much stuff under DB9 Project unless it's trance or sort of progressive trance, really. Apologies for the late session today. I got a little bit sidetracked designing the new homepage for the website. After looking around on lots of different blockchain companies and different crypto websites, I'm starting to see the sort of change in the designs and stuff. So I'm trying to make the site just look a little bit more modernized. So I thought I'd give it a crack today, and within a couple of hours I'd actually come up with a nice, simple, sleek design. Today's session anyway, before I show you the website quickly, today's session is about the same as what I did last week. It's the Progressive House, Uplifting Progressive House vocal track that I made, but it's actually mixing the track down because last week's session I just showed you, I think, one or two sections in the track, which you probably can't see on the screen that well at the moment, and I think we focused on the first section here and this section here. But let me switch over. Just want to say a quick warm welcome to all of the new subscribers on the channel as well. I've just noticed a couple of new subscribers to the channel in the last few days, so thank you for that. Welcome. I hope you get some valuable use out of this channel. As I said in last week's video, I am going to be taking on a full-time job in the new year, so I won't be so active during the daytime on the academy, but I will still be putting in time in the evenings. I will be moving my sessions or my live bookings, and the house music course will be moving to an evening time slot instead. And I'll still be able to do stuff on the weekends occasionally if I'm not playing golf and getting a bit of downtime. But I will try and do videos when I can. I may have to go back to doing more sort of recorded 10-minute videos and uploading those, rather than actually doing live sessions. It just depends how things pan out. But I will try and keep things going as much as I can. As I say, I've not been getting much support on the channel in terms of likes and comments and things like that. We're getting a few views on the content, and I can see which is popular and which is not popular, which does help me to understand what you guys are looking to learn out there as well. So I will be doing more stuff over time. It's just a case I've got to sit down, plan it all out, and with a new job coming up, I don't know what I'm going to be doing fully. I'm just a front-end web developer for this online IT tuition company, but I'll tell you more about that in the new year. Oh, excuse me, I do apologise. I've just had my dinner. I had to go and have my dinner because I was doing the website, then I did a Facebook live video, and now I'm back on doing this because I wanted to do a session for you guys. I didn't want to miss out what I was going to do, because this session is going to be following on to next week's session on Facebook. Confused, but I do two different live shows, one on here and one on Facebook now, on the Facebook page. So I'm going to switch over, guys. I'm just a little bit confused where I am. Yeah, okay, here we go. So let's get rid of that. I'll just show you quickly before we play the track. Last week I got into this section here and this section here, but before I show you that, I just want to show you the website that new homepage I've been doing. So I've gone back to having just the one video of the synthesizer in the top, because I do like that, and I've taken the sliding banner away, or will take it away. This is just a prototype at the moment, but it's a lot slicker. I'm just piecing it together. You can see how everything sort of just blends in nicely now, and that's what I'm sort of just sharpening up a little bit, trying to modernize it. So I'm just going with the still going with the oranges, and sort of the purples, because this is sort of our base original colors that we had all of this stuff designed at the time, back in 2014. So I've moved the banner back down to here. Makes more sense now about getting the discounts with the courses. So that's still pretty much the same as the home page, but I've just sort of smartened it up. Instead of having a square band, I just put these curves back into it. So you can see how it's piecing together. A few tweaks I've got to make to this as well. And yeah, so that's it, guys. And you can see how this now starts to blend in with the bottom footer. And I'm going to be doing all of the pages across the service pages. These I'm going to be tweaking those over the next week or so, and just sort of making them look a little bit sort of neater and sharper. So obviously when I put the site together, it was just I tried to get it done as quick as I could so I could launch the business and get things out there. And obviously things have changed over time, but you know, that does look really nice to me now. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you like it or not? So moving on, guys, let's get into this. We're going to be mixing this track down. So last week's session was focusing on this section here. I made this section. I think let's go into 4-bar loops so I can see where I'm going. That's 8, 16. So I've recorded this section here, and I think I recorded another section. The original a cappella started to come in here, that's right, and then the vocals came in here. So I recorded sort of, I think, yeah, I recorded this section here. Taken some of the snare builds and moved things around. You can see how I'm just chopping things out. I've changed some of the kick drums around, and what we did as I focused on this section, I recorded this by literally going into here, recording all of these loops, and then just chopping around and moving things around. And I've started to create this next section just by stripping back sections. I've been playing around with the intro, with the vocal, and then what I did is, instead of having the vocal come in here where it should have come in there, I've kind of released and created a bit of a drop down here instead, purely so that I can sort of breathe the track before I release the vocal. I wanted to delay the vocal just to give more body to the track, so it helped me structure the track a lot better. So a bit of automation. There's no mixing down, there's just bass clef, and there is master chain on, but I will mix with and without it as I'm going throughout the track. So I'll be sort of A/B testing this. I also now want to put, before I forget, first of all, a mono plugin. So we're going to come to utilities, and we're going to put just a mono plugin there, not a bass mono, because the bass mono focuses purely on the bass sub frequencies and allows us to just have the mid frequencies a lot higher in the mix, where we can just focus on making the subs of the bass in mono. So if you want to put, for example, this onto an entire group of basses, and you just want to group all your bass synths together, and you want to still keep the stereo but keep the subs into mono, you can use the mono bass plugin. And we'll start to do that in some of other tracks. I'll start mixing, bringing some of my other house tracks and showing you some of these mixing techniques again that I do. I know we've covered this stuff before in the past, but I like to keep on doing it and reiterating things, because as I develop, I find new ways of doing things that sound good and make tracks sound nice together. But in this particular case, we've just got one bass, so I am going to put a bass mono on there because I want the sub to come in mono, but I still want to keep the stereo width. So the difference is between this is just that it's in mono, and whereas the other one is in bass mono, so we can actually just highlight the low frequencies into mono. So I'm going to put this bass first of all onto mono, bass mono, but I'm going to play around with this frequency because I want to listen to what happens with it, because I might need to put some stereo back into the bass. So mid sort of more mid frequencies, and I could do that with mid side EQ or a little bit of multiband compression or multiband EQ. I mean as well. Sorry, I meant to say multiband EQ. So go in and just sort of tweak some of the sides of that, and put and maybe another utility on, or I can try moving this frequency around here. So we'll come to that. We'll start doing some mix downs on this. We're going to start putting a compressor onto, first of all, and an EQ onto the kick drum. So I want an EQ8 on my kick drum. I also want an EQ8 onto my bass. So while we're on EQs, let's just start putting stuff together. I'm going to start doing all of my synths in one group. So that's percussion. Let's see what we've got here, so I can see what's going on. So it's orchestral, that's stabs. Stabs are more effects. I want to keep the effects together, so I'm going to group these effects here and create one first group. You're probably wondering what the track sounds like. I'll play it through in a second for you. In fact, while it's playing through, I might try and do some just some labeling and stuff. So I'm just going to play the track through, and I'm going to start putting some EQs onto things and start throwing the mix together. There's no snares or anything in this. I'm going to add some snares in. We've got here, this synth is a arpeggiator and also another arpeggio. So that's an orchestral loop. What's that doing? That's more percussion, I think. Let's have a listen. Yep, as I thought, it's percussion, so that's great. So we can start grouping our percussions here. Group, and we just go, I'm just going to call it drums for quickness. This is just basically an orchestral loop. Just adds a nice little bit of bounce into the track as it's moving around. These I'm going to put into one group as well. That's my vocals. Actually, you cannot see, guys. Let me just move around a little bit, and I can just see what I'm doing. Box. This is an effect, so we're going to put that into the effects group. Where's my effects? There we go. Effects group. So that's vocals. That's a snare. We're going to put that into drums. What we got left? We have effects, stabs, effects. So we're going to group these. Might help if I select them all. Effects. So I don't know what happened with that one. We've got effects group and another effects group. Hang on. Oh, we did, yeah. I'd already done it. Silly me. It's because I saw that. This just helps me tidy things up, really, and also put some stuff on channels should I need to do so. Keeping my kick drum separate, I'm going to create another kick drum. I'm going to duplicate this track. What I'm going to do is actually going to create I need a side chain. So this soft kick is really good enough for a side chain. So I'm going to chop it to 1. And just duplicate across. Oh. Ah dear. I keep pressing the caps lock key rather than the shift key. And it's okay, so there's my side chain. I don't need all that to there. Okay, so I've got a side chain because I just want to leave a little bit of side chain now, here and there, just to allow things to breathe in the mix, as you should know by now. So SC trigger, and I've done it all the way across because I might want the pump, and if I don't, I'll just go back and change it to sort of so it's like that. It depends whether I want that release on the side chain. I may want it now and again. So what I might do is here, sort of side chain, release it there. We'll see how it sounds when we've got certain elements. In this particular case, I want the side chain on the bass. So we're going to come to our bass first, and we're going to we've got our compressor, bass mono. Put that first. Filter, EQ. Going to roll off some bass. Just bump it up around. and a little fundamental around there, and we're going to pull out some of the bass here to allow for the kick, and that's around about 300 hertz range, about 330 hertz there, something like that will do for now. I can get more specific with the EQ. And what do I want? Sidechain, yeah, that's it. So I want a compressor. Put my compressor in there. We're going to go into sidechain on the trigger. We're going to loop around my bass and start with the bass first. So I got a little bit carried away there, guys, but you can see why. And that's how I mix down, really. I just sort of come into a nice little loop, get it sounding right, get everything coming on. You can see how I just brought those synths out into the mix, just a little bit of boost of EQ. There's no even compression on there yet, and you can just see the difference in the mix already. I am going to drop a little compressor there on that end. Where are we? I've also dropped a Haas effect to add some stereo width. I do want to go back and check my bass. That's one thing I forgot. I just want to check the mono sound of the bass. I do want a little bit of stereo in it, but we'll see what happens. I'll come back to that in a second. But I just wanted to sort of go through some standard routines of setting up, just dropping my EQs on, dropping my compressors on, doing the things that I always do in routine, and that's how I go around doing a mix and to start getting it sounding really good. You noticed I also worked in mono for a while, and then I've just opened it up into stereo to see what it sounds like. So I get everything sounding right in mono. Even though I've got a stereo system sat here, I like to listen to it in mono while I'm mixing down. Then I'm taking off the master out and see what the difference is, and that's where you can see whether I need to pump a few things louder in the mix. And then when I put the master chain on, it compresses everything down nicely. So let's go back in. Let's have a listen to my bass without the master chain on, back into mono on here as well, and then I just want to compare between mono and stereo on my bass. Before I do, I just want to, before I forget, I'm going to drop a compressor. We're going to have a glue compressor for this specifically because I want to bring everything together. I want to add sustain to this sound. So let's listen to these synths. Okay, so I'm happy with the way that's starting to sound now. Just one problem I've got is my vocals are quite quiet now in the mix. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of boosting on maybe on some of the vocals, some of this. I'm going to have to maybe boost here just to get a little bit more out of it. Not too much. Again, it's little tweaks. You can see what I did. I just brought the synth down by a decibel, so I'm going to come down a decibel and a half. Because with all this boosting going on, makeup gains and everything, it's bringing everything back up into the mix. And of course, you've got to make sure everything sounds good with and without mastering, because the chances are, if I want to send this off for mastering, I would send it off without all of this mastering chain on. I'd send it off just the way it sounds. Obviously with the mono off, bass off, and just checking that again. So what I'm going to do now is I just want to check my bass again. I want to have a listen to this bass on its own, just play around with the mono settings and the stereo of the sound. Now I can't really see anything happening at the moment, or hear anything happening, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to put another EQ on, because I don't want to mess around with my settings, and I'm just going to put an EQ on quickly to see if I can see any change in the frequency. Ideally I want a spectral analyzer, and I can't even remember where they are. Spectrum. There we go, that's what I'm after. So hopefully this will allow me to don't want pitch, I just want to see an overall spectrum. There we go. So I know I can see it here, but I actually just want to see a spectrum. I mean, I could done the same here really, but I don't want to turn these EQs off. So quickly, I just want to look at the spectrum. I'm going to put it at the end of the mix. Now personally I don't think it's visually doing anything on here. I think what it's actually doing, the plugin is doing, is anything below 119 or 120 Hertz, it's just going to put it into bass, into mono for me. Can't physically see it here. Let's have a look. I've got a mono bass plugin on my master out, have I? Is that turned off? Yeah, it's turned off. So I'm just going to listen to the difference now between this in mono on the master out and mono coming through here, just the bass low end. Okay, so liking that so far. What I want to do now is introduce a few filters just to sort of quieten it down when the vocals are coming in and stuff. The music's a bit full on all the way across. So yeah, just a few breaks maybe here. Filter some of the synths. So let's get a filter onto this. Being these are audio and a mixture of MIDI and audio, I'm going to try and first of all see if I can filter this one. No, so I can't do that, so they've all got to be filtered at the same time because they're very harsh sounds. They're just there as background sort of percussive effects really, and synth. So this has got to be done with a filter.
Why would you not say it's this way? Show you, you run away, don't turn around, don't touch. Why would you not do? My heart is cold, it's time to say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Is it true? Got no man, no pain, no cry.
I got a bit carried away again, but I love it. I'm sorry guys, I love it. But that's me done for tonight. That's 45 minutes. That's a little bit longer than I expected. I've only been doing a half an hour videos, but I've really enjoyed mixing that down and getting into that nice, simple, streamlined process. Hope you've learned a lot. If you've got any questions, please leave your comments below. Please consider subscribing if you are new to the channel and you are watching and you've watched all the way through and you've stayed with me. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I really do. Don't know what I'm going to be doing next week. We'll see. I've got to try and come up with some stuff, but I am recorded the first module of the new house music sound design course that I'm putting together at the moment. I've done module 1, the bass section. That's all been recorded and edited this week, so I'm just trying to get that course done before I start this new job, and then at least then I'm on top of pretty much everything I wanted to try and get done so far on the academy. The other things are going to take a little bit longer. Hopefully I will be able to get some people on board and employ some people to actually help me run this and move it further forward. So without further ado guys, I'm going to go and head off and enjoy the rest of my evening, and I'm really loving making music again. So on that note, take care. It's getting nasty out there again, it's getting a little bit silly out there again, so stay safe, wrap up and put your mask on if you want to. It's your choice, but I'm not here for that. Just get on with your lives and enjoy making some music. Take care, stay safe, stay warm. Cheers guys.